Hi, my name is Judy. Welcome to Yin Yoga. Today I have a relatively short, somewhere in the vicinity of, I think, 35 minute Yin Yoga practice, and it is about accepting our edge. You may want some props. I definitely suggest that you have a bolster if possible, if not a large firm pillow such as from your couch. That works very well. You can take a couple of blocks, you can put a blanket on it. Not as comfortable, but it does work. Speaking of blocks, I do suggest having a couple blocks. I pretty much always suggest having a couple blocks. Right now I'm sitting on a block. And before I go even further into our practice today, let's go ahead and come to an easy seated position. I do suggest sitting up on a blanket, on a block, on a cushion, just so you're comfortable with your hips above your knees. And as you're sitting there, feel your spine grow longer, lengthen through your neck, and maybe shut down your eyes if that's comfortable. And if not, just shut them a little and gaze down towards your nose. Let your gaze become unfocused. We're going to take several cleansing breaths, and that will look like breathing in through your nose, and then letting it all go on a deep sigh through your mouth, maybe making a ha sound. So inhale slowly through your nose, and exhale, let it out. Trying to make your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale. Continue doing that as I explain a little bit more about our practice. There are many ways to sequence in Yin Yoga. One of the ways that I'm exploring this month is with the meridians. And the meridians we are targeting today are the lung and large intestine. And the emotions you may feel if these meridians are out of balance are grief and depression, and you may be more susceptible to upper respiratory infections. This practice physically is going to target our neck and our shoulders. And I offer you an affirmation for the entire practice, which is, I accept what I cannot change. So if you're familiar with the Serenity Prayer, that's basically it in a nutshell. Now, if you're sitting on a block, go ahead and remove that block. Come to face the short end of your mat. And on a more subtle level today, we are trying to bring ourselves back into balance and accept what we cannot change. Come into a tabletop position. And come down onto your elbows. And then stretch one leg out, then the other, coming down onto your stomach, and all the way down. Chest comes to the mat. Go ahead and stretch your left arm out towards the side, towards the left. And bend your right arm, bring the right hand about shoulder height. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and roll over towards your left. And I probably should have started the other way. Okay. If this is too intense for you, you can go ahead and bend your bottom knees. It's a very deep shoulder opener. I accept the things I cannot change. For instance, I cannot change my height. I mean, nobody really can. I can change the color of my hair if I chose to. I do not choose to. And let your muscles relax. You feel some tension in the arms, of course. See if you can relax the rest of your body. Very slowly take that right leg back to the mat. Moving back so that you are on the mat. And go ahead and stretch your right arm out to the side. Bring your left palm about in line with your left shoulder. Bend the right foot. And then go ahead and take the left foot, bend your left foot, take the left foot up and over your right leg. I accept the things I cannot change. We have a lot of ants in our backyard. That's why you'll see me brushing at things. Remember, bend your legs if this feels too intense. We are finding our edge by accepting that perhaps we can only go a certain depth today. That doesn't mean tomorrow may not be deeper, and maybe not. I can't change my age, for instance. What I can change is the way I view my age. And go ahead and bring that left leg back over. Come on up onto your elbows. And just take a brief rest in Sphinx pose. And then begin to walk your hands back and slowly push yourself up into a tabletop position. You might want a block or 2 blocks for our next pose. Keeping your hips over your knees, begin to walk your hands out. And again, find your edge. And go ahead and pause. If you found the edge, pause. Maybe back out a little bit. And perhaps come down a little bit more. You can take your head to a block. You can put your hands on blocks. Find your edge, find where you are comfortable, and accept the things you cannot change. My aim with this practice is to begin to challenge some of my followers to go a little deeper, hold a little longer. So we are practicing mostly slightly longer holds today. Go ahead and begin to press into your hands using your arm strength to raise yourself up and walk your hands back towards your body till you're in a tabletop position. And go ahead and bring your legs out to either side. Excuse me while I change the pine needles. And then bring the soles of your feet to the mat. Bring yourself back onto your elbows, and then all the way back and onto your back. And just a brief rest here in Shavasana. And notice if anything has changed from the start of this practice to this moment now. And is that something you can accept? Or perhaps you need to change something? If you don't have any props, we are moving into fish pose, and I will demo that right now. You'll bring your arms closer to your legs and then actually right underneath your glutes. Go ahead and bend your elbows so the elbows are bent. And begin to arch your back and let your head fall back. And you will stay like this. If it gets to be too much, just come on to your back. If you do have a bolster, go ahead and grab that now. You can raise the bolster onto a couple of blocks to elevate your body a little bit more. Or you can have the bolster right on your mat, like I do. And then bring your hips, still leaving a little space between, just a little, not a lot, between your bolster and your back. And same thing, you're going to slowly come down and lay back on the bolster and let your arms come out to either side. And just relax. So you're either in fish or supported fish. I accept the things I cannot change. Be aware that our first two poses were on the front of our body, and now we are on our back. And notice if you feel any difference here. I'm hoping that you're finding more space for your chest and your lungs and your shoulders. The longer you stay here, most likely the more space you'll create. And perhaps you're noticing that it's easier to breathe this way. Notice anywhere in your body you may be holding tension, specifically in your upper back, your shoulders, maybe your neck or your jaw. This is one of the things that you can help to change. Begin to breathe into that area. Visualize your body opening. Visualize your back softening as if someone were pouring warm melted butter down your back. Or perhaps just warm oil. On your next inhale, go ahead and bring the soles of your feet to the mat. Knees point up towards the sky. The easiest way I've found to come out of this pose is just to gently roll on to either side. Push yourself up. If you're using a bolster, go ahead and grab that bolster. We're moving into our final pose, Shavasana. And I invite you to take your bolster underneath your knees. You can also use your blocks underneath your knees. This can really help if you have some sensation in your low back as we lay in Shavasana. And then just relax. Receive the benefits of your practice. I will be sitting back up to hold space for you, and I truly urge you to stay in Shavasana. I will cue you when it is time to come out, and I also want to read you a short quote that talks to some of the things we've been talking about in this practice. We don't use our body to get into a pose. We use the pose to get into our body. And that is from Bernie Clark, who is one of the very, very knowledgeable teachers of Yin Yoga, one of the beginning teachers of Yin Yoga, and just very knowledgeable about yoga in general. He has written quite a few different books, and I recommend them. I accept the things I cannot change. Go ahead and allow your breath to deepen. Keeping your eyes closed if they are. Go ahead and take any movements you feel you need as you come back into your body, into awareness. Perhaps wiggling your toes and your fingers, maybe stretching a bit side to side in your hips. Perhaps moving your head from side to side or up and down. Come to stillness, and on your next inhale, inhale your arms away from your feet. A really nice stretch here. And then bend one knee into your chest, then the other. And hold of both knees. And slowly drop over towards the side of your choice. Taking your bottom arm, cradling your head. Take a few deep breaths here, in through your nose, out through your nose. There's nothing to rush to. And slowly begin to push your torso upright, coming into a nice, easy seated position again. And go ahead and bring the palms of your hands together in front of your heart. Begin to rub them back and forth. Bring some awareness back into your body. And then bringing your hands to stillness in front of your heart. Bowing your head over your hands. And begin to blink your eyes open. Taking in your mat, the floor if you're inside, or the earth if you're outside, and slowly raising your head to take in the rest of wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining me today for this practice. Give yourself thanks for giving yourself the time. And I hope to see you on the mat again.